I guess what is one time saving tip or habit creating action would you give me? If you want to give me both of those or one or the other.
Yeah. So I have so many. As you know, I have ADHD. I have had to develop systems in order to be successful. So the one-time saving tip, automate wherever you can. Automate how your bills are paid. Automate how your social media runs itself. Automate how you get your laundry done. Anything that doesn't bring you joy in your life, automate it or hire it out. All right. That's my number one tip, especially for parents. You got to hire someone to do it. Or if you have family in town, you tell them to do it out of the goodness of their hearts. maybe you bake them a treat or something. So that's the number one time saving tip. Automate, hire it out. For habit creation, I love a checklist. I have so many different checklists. I have a weekly checklist that's just self-care that I keep on my fridge. That's everything I need to do every day to take really good care of myself. And it's on my fridge because I go to my fridge a lot, because maybe this time there'll be different food. There isn't, but sometimes maybe this will be the time. There's magically an extra Pellegrino in there or something. So I'm constantly looking at my fridge, and now I'm looking at, oh, also I should probably meditate. I should probably go meditate. I have a daily checklist that I make of work stuff, and I have like a weekly and a monthly and a yearly checklist that I keep, all over the place. For me, my checklists are always a work in progress, because I'm always waking up in a new brain. Who knows what kind of brain I'm going to have today? Who knows what these hormones are doing in here? So I leave a lot of time, and this is going to feel like the antithesis to time management, but I leave a lot of time for puttering, by which I mean I don't schedule anything. I know I'm going to maybe get some stuff done. Like this morning's puttering, like I cleans, I swept, and I mopped. And that's also a list that I have, is like, what do I have to clean each week? If I don't have a list, I'm not going to do it. So what was I saying? Making space, doing less.
Like the puttering, just like leaving
Puttering,
space.
yes, yeah. And letting that time be really sacred in terms of, I have no expectations of productivity. I need that every day. No expectations of productivity. If my puttering time is sitting and staring at social media for 2 hours, so be it. It's working in my garden for 2 hours, great. If it's going for a bike ride, great. But it's my time to like really check in with my body of like, what do we want to do right now? We can do anything. What feels like it's going to light me up the most? And then I have about 2 hours dedicated to exercise and 2 hours dedicated to my business on any given day, 2 to 4 hours. But most of my day is spent taking care of myself, from that really deep place where even like sweeping my home becomes a meditation, right? So to create the habit, you have to learn how to enjoy everything. And so you have to come at it with this mindfulness of like, how am I going to make this fun? Am I going to put on my podcast and listen to an entertaining podcast while I get into all the nooks and crannies of my home? But yeah, checklists, find a system that works for you. And sometimes I'll even do like an hourly, if I have 2 hours, but I'm not sure how to spend it, I'll like write down everything I could possibly do. Here's my other trick for habit creation. Write down how long you think it's going to take you to do any particular thing. Do this as an exercise for a couple of days, and then see how long it actually takes. Because then you'll learn like, oh yeah, it doesn't take an hour to change the sheets, even though it feels like it. It only takes literally a minute and a half. I can handle it. I can handle this for a minute and a half, and I'm going to be so grateful for it. Future Morgan's going to be thrilled out of her mind. But you might also be surprised of like, wow, yeah, it really does take me an hour to do this social media content, right? Or to get around to writing this email that I promised myself I was going to write that feels awkward. So I'm going to distract myself so I don't do it. So turning in that inner witness, that self-study, that svadhisthaya, as we say in the yoga worlds, will help you learn where your habits already exist and where you want to make those shifts. And wherever you need to make shifts, that's what you need to put on a list. The list is aspirational. And it's a constant
I love
act of
that.
self-forgiveness when you don't hit
Yeah.
everything on the list. It's an observation tool, not a flagellation tool.
Yeah, no, I like that. And actually that reminds me, a few weeks ago, I felt like my to-do list was so long. And so I wrote it all out and then I dedicated time. But as I did something, even if it wasn't on the list, I wrote it down on another list. So at the end of that time, I looked to see what I had marked off my to-do list, but also what I had done. So I made like a done list and I was like, this list is so long. Like I felt like I didn't do that much, but I really did, you know, but it was just because of that, like that sense of accomplishment that like there was a list of some sort and it shows what you got done. So I love that.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful bonus tip of like, yeah, write down what you've already done, because we do so much more in a day than we give ourselves credit for. I mean, if you just wrote down every dish that you washed in a day, like it would be pages long.